I never thought I'd see the day when I'd call 911 because my HOA president broke into my house. But that's exactly what happened. And the moment Karen stepped across my doorway, she realized she'd just destroyed her own empire. When I bought my new home at the end of Maple Ridge Drive, a quiet little cul-de-sac with perfect lawns and smiling mailboxes, I thought I was buying peace. It was my dream setup. Smart locks, solar-powered cameras, motion sensors, the whole futuristic fortress. I'd worked hard for this place. I thought the biggest drama I'd face would be trimming the hedges. I was wrong. Her name was Karen. The day after I moved in, she showed up like a storm in a floral blouse. Blonde hair tied in a tight bun, clipboard hugged to her chest like a holy text. She marched up my porch steps. No smile, no warmth. Just, "We take neighborhood standards very seriously around here." I tried to play it cool. "Don't worry, I'm not painting my house neon green." She didn't even blink, just scribbled something down, turned around and walked away like a self-appointed queen inspecting her kingdom. That's when I realized this wasn't just a neighborhood. It was her territory. At first it was little things. Flyers about lawn care dropped on my porch, even though my lawn looked like a golf course. Passive-aggressive comments on the community Facebook page about certain homeowners who didn't follow the vibe. And those looks icy, judging like I was a stain she couldn't scrub off the community brochure. I told myself to ignore her. Every neighborhood has a Karen. You just smile, nod, and keep your head down. But I didn't know how far she'd go to prove she was in charge. It happened on an ordinary Wednesday. I was stuck in traffic halfway home from work when my phone buzzed a motion alert from my front camera. I opened the feed casually and froze. There she was, Karen, standing at my front door, glancing around like a thief in broad daylight. At first I thought maybe she was leaving another flyer, but then she grabbed the doorknob. My heart started pounding. She reached into that oversized purse she always carried and pulled out a small black device. A second later, I heard the click. My smart lock disengaged. She just walked in. No knock, no call. Just strolled into my house like she owned it. I couldn't breathe. My hands shook as I hit the call button. 911. I stammered. "Someone just broke into my house. I'm watching it live right now." "Do you know the intruder?" the dispatcher asked. "Yes," I said, still staring at the screen. "She's the HOA president." By the time I got home, there were 2 patrol cars parked outside. Karen was standing on my porch, arms crossed, arguing with the officers like she was the one in charge. "I have every right to inspect the property," she barked. "He might be violating HOA rules." I ran up breathless, holding out my phone. She used a tool to break my smart lock. "It's all on video." The officers took one look, exchanged glances, and their tone shifted. "Ma'am, you need to come with us." Karen's face went pale. "This is a mistake. I was protecting the neighborhood," she cried as the cuffs clicked around her wrists. For the first time, her confidence cracked. When they drove off with her in the back seat, I stepped inside, legs shaking. Everything looked untouched, but that didn't matter. Something in me had been broken, that sense of safety, of control. I replayed the footage a dozen times that night, watching her bypass my lock like a professional thief. This wasn't curiosity. This was premeditated. I sent the footage to the HOA board, expecting the usual corporate silence. But the next morning, my inbox was overflowing, neighbors apologizing, whispering, saying she'd crossed lines before, but no one ever caught her. The HOA put out a bland statement. "We do not condone the actions of our president. The matter is under internal review." Translation: "We're panicking." 2 days later, she was out on bail, and instead of staying quiet, she came for me. Her rant hit the neighborhood Facebook group like a grenade. She called me a paranoid tech bro, said I was ruining community spirit with my surveillance, claimed she was investigating a possible Airbnb violation like that justified breaking into someone's home. The comments exploded. Half the neighborhood turned into amateur lawyers overnight. Some defended her. Others were just tired of her power trips. But what really pushed me over the edge was what I found that night on my porch, a letter hand-delivered, no return address. It was from her personal lawyer, accusing me of defamation and threatening to countersue if I didn't drop the charges. I sat there holding that letter, hands trembling, not with fear this time, but rage. She broke into my home, and now she wanted to sue me. That night I called my lawyer, Mr. Patel. Calm, confident, the kind of guy who doesn't flinch. After hearing the story, he said, "She trespassed. You have video proof. If she tampered with your lock, that's criminal mischief, maybe even attempted burglary." I blinked. "Can we sue her back?" He didn't even hesitate. "Absolutely. Civil suit, emotional distress, property tampering, illegal entry." She crossed a line. That was the moment I decided I wasn't going to be the quiet neighbor anymore. A week later, Karen was served right on her front lawn. I was across the street watching as the process server handed her the papers. She looked up, saw me, and the fury in her eyes could have set grass on fire. I just smiled and waved. She doubled down, of course. Posted again online claiming I was attacking strong women and using tech to intimidate the community. It was pure chaos. But something started shifting. People who used to stay silent began sharing their own stories, Karen peeking through windows threatening fines for things like too loud wind chimes. For the first time, the neighborhood wasn't afraid of her anymore. Then came court day. The courtroom buzzed like a hive. Neighbors whispered in the back. Karen sat up front in a pastel blouse and pearls, looking like she was headed to Sunday service, not a hearing. Her lawyer looked exhausted already. Mr. Patel leaned toward me. "She's filed a motion to dismiss. It won't stick." When the judge walked in, the room fell silent. Stern, sharp-eyed, not the kind you could charm with fake smiles. Karen's lawyer started. "Your Honor, my client acted in good faith. She believed there was a violation of HOA policy." Mr. Patel stood calm as ever. "We have video evidence showing the defendant using a device to override a smart lock and entering the plaintiff's home without permission. That's not good faith. That's trespassing." The judge's eyes turned to Karen. "Would you care to explain why you entered this man's home?" Karen stood clutching her hands dramatically. "I was enforcing community standards. There were complaints about strange visitors." The judge cut her off. "You do understand you're not law enforcement. You had no right to enter his property." Karen's voice faltered. You thought wrongly." The room went dead silent. I could hear my own heartbeat. Then Patel played the video. Karen's face on the big screen, leaning in, unlocking the door, walking right in. And then the Facebook rant. Her calling me paranoid, accusing me of criminal behavior. The judge sighed, shaking her head. "So after breaking into his home, you defamed him publicly. You're not just reckless, Ms. Karen. You're dangerous." Her lawyer slumped. Karen's jaw clenched so hard I thought her teeth might crack. The verdict came fast. Karen was found liable for damages. The criminal case would move forward separately. She was done. As I walked out, I saw a few neighbors waiting by the steps. One of them, Mr. Green, gave me a thumbs up. Finally, someone stood up to her. He said. Karen brushed past me, eyes blazing. "This isn't over," she hissed. I smiled. "For you, it just might be." A week later, the HOA newsletter landed in my mailbox. Headline in bold: HOA President steps down amid legal drama. The article tried to sound polite, talked about preserving dignity and restoring trust. But everyone knew. She'd been forced out. Then more stories came out. A woman from 2 streets over said Karen had once let herself into her backyard to inspect fence height. Another neighbor admitted Karen threatened to fine him over unapproved wind chimes. It wasn't just me, it was years of quiet tyranny. The HOA tried to move on, but I wasn't done, not yet. I told my lawyer I'd drop the remaining charges if she made a public apology. Not online, not in private, in front of everyone. 2 Saturdays later, an emergency HOA meeting was called. The whole neighborhood showed up. Karen walked in looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. Shoulders slumped, voice trembling, reading from a folded paper. "I let my position go to my head," she said. "I thought I was protecting the community, but I crossed boundaries. I apologize." No one clapped. Just silence. The kind that weighs heavy, the kind that means it's finally over. The next morning, a moving truck sat in her driveway. By sunset, she was gone. Weeks passed. The neighborhood actually felt peaceful. No more flyers, no more Facebook rants, no more surprise inspections. People waved again. Dogs barked without getting reported. And every night when I locked my front door with one tap on my phone, I smiled because this time I knew it would stay locked. Sometimes standing up for yourself isn't about revenge. It's about reminding people where the line is and making sure they never cross it again.